Welcome everybody, hope you're having a good day. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the newsletters and product announcements from the past week in the hoscale world. Before we get into it though, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new or if you find yourself coming back. Like the video if you enjoy, both are completely free, you can always change your mind, and they help me one day make $1 or 2 off this channel. So thank you in advance, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to start today with the Rapido newsletter here, as you can see up for October. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. It's Rapido's 20th anniversary this year, so they're doing a free day at the Halton County Radio Railway Museum. So that's a cool event that they're doing there. An update here for a new scheme on the HO GP40s that they announced. They're doing KCS and XKCX NREX patch outs here. These look pretty great. They're 3D renders right here. I'm just going to show you these. Not a KCS kind of guy, but they're very interesting here. Here's those new mock-ups of those 4 paint schemes that they added. And then they do have some samples of the GP40s. So I'll show you those. You can see all the plastic in gray and then all of the separately applied brass or etched metal pieces across the model here, as well as those metal handrails. Looking pretty good. There's a mother and slug set there, the Canadian National style, with little hood there over the walkway. It's a cool light package here for the cotton belt on the front with that emergency light. And since Illinois Central did not have dynamic brakes, since they're pretty much running on flat ground, that's the section here with the see-through fan grills highlighted all across here. And of course, they do have Canon and Company licensed fans, just like the GP38. Did a review of that if you're interested. I'll have my Burlington Northern model back soon. Had to send that in for some repair under warranty, so I'll be able to contrast those in a little bit. But looking through here, these look great again. Not sure if I'm going to pick one up. Here's just some features here. Give you a moment if you wanted to pause. But here's a look at the paint schemes. I'm most interested in the Illinois Central paint scheme. It looks great. I love the Death Star scheme. I eventually want 2 IC SD70s, and Athearn Genesis has made those best, but they haven't made a good quality run of them in a while. The last run they made had issues with the trucks where they would derail, so I haven't picked one up on the secondhand market. So just a heads up if you were thinking about that. So my options, Illinois Central here. The RF&P looks pretty sweet. I don't think I'd pick it up. That paint scheme just looks neat. And then the Wisconsin Central paint scheme looks great as well. So those are my picks if I were going to pick up one of these GP40s. Still on the fence, not quite sure. Might wait for some other reviews to come out first, but definitely a cool model offered here. So moving on to a boxcar preview here, the Trenton Works 6637 cubic foot BC rail boxcar. Just an early sample here. And then some schemes of the AAR boxcar in HO. There's just some features there for you. And we'll take a quick look at the schemes. I'll pause for a second in case you're interested in reading about them. I don't think I'll pick them up, but again, very, very nice paint schemes. They're very interesting. Good picks for a first release here. And then, of course, the Greenbrier reefers. I have a pre-order in currently for the 6-pack of the ScaleTrains. The first one without the yellow on the end. It's just orange. So here's the Lineage Logistics versions. They do have different names in the center, so you can pick up just one road name. And then the ScaleTrains version here. So that's very cool. It's a cool thing that differentiates the cars a little bit beyond just the car number. They do have actual names on them. Then moving on here, just some order deadline heads up. 2 hoscales, the Toronto First Subway and the CN Track Geometry Vehicle 1501, the XRDC. And then, of course, pass it a little bit, the N-Scale Metra F40 PHMs and Budd gallery cars. The HO ones are coming soon, hopefully. I'm super excited for those. This is just a preview of the HO Toronto's first subway here with the station. You can buy the platform by itself as well. And here's just a quick pic of that track geometry vehicle. And then the N-Scale Winnebagos for Metra. Put your pre-order in. Again, not an N-Scale guy, but I'll just skim through these in case you're interested. And then some November deadlines here, the HO, GP40, and slugs that we talked about earlier, and then some more N-Scale stuff here. They've got N-Scale Budd RDCs, samples. Just moving along a little quick here through the N-Scale stuff. Some F49 PHs. I do have one of these actually I should probably do a review on in HO. It's the Trinity Railway Express, the TRE from Texas. So I'll get around to that, but I've got a couple exciting things this week that should be coming out, so stay tuned. I don't know if I want to spoil them yet. They have an unboxing video of the 2816 Excursion version, comes in a fancy wooden box. And then they did, in fact, announce the P32 AC Metro North locomotive here. So of course they had to get a picture of it at the open house with the 3D printed sample. Here's some CAD renders here. Pretty neat. I don't think I'll pick one up because I'm going to be picking up all the Metro stuff. Just focusing on that right now. But very well done. It's cool to see another manufacturer enter in the P32, P40 market. So we'll see if they do end up doing some Amtrak P40s or P42s. So these are just some pictures of the heritage units that they've got. And then they do say that they are working on the Amtrak versions. So there's just a quick pic of that. And here's some features if you're interested, as well as the Metro North specific and Amtrak specific features. And then, of course, the paint schemes here. The New Haven paint scheme is fantastic. And then that special 214 there at the bottom. Moving on, they're doing another run of the HO44 tonners. They're pretty neat here. Here's just some real life pictures, examples here. And then here's a couple of those first run and second run model prototypes here. And here's some features with different detail variations they say haven't been offered in plastic before, which is nice. And then the paint schemes here. These are pretty cool. I don't think I'll pick one up again, but just very cool to see different variety. I know Bachmann has come out with 44 tonners recently too, so it'll be interesting to see how they compare. So there's a quick look at all those paint schemes, many offered in this run. And moving on, another new announcement, the Greenbrier Transverse Coil car, which is pretty sweet. It's one of the newest rail cars in the industry, they say, but it's very neat, holding steel coils with the covers on it, which is pretty cool. There's some models that Bobby from Rapido kit bashed, made himself there. And here's some real life pictures, which is pretty sweet. And then there you go. There's another Railroad of Lies patch out, of course. They're fun. Rapido is just having fun making trains. You can definitely tell. But here's some of those paint schemes here that you can see. And then here's that Hudson 2816 unboxing video if you're interested. And then they'll be at the RPM meet in Naperville. And then the NMRA British Region Convention. And then Train Fest as well on the 23rd and 24th of November. Then here's the big one, the arrival updates. And the two that I am paying most attention to are the gallery cars. A little sneak peek below there. I've got 3 orders in for 3 3-packs. And then I have 3 F40 PHM-2s on pre-order as well. I am super excited for them. I cannot wait. Um, and then a sneak peek of something coming this week. I have the Atlas Nippon-Sharyo cars ordered, so they should be arriving this week, and I can give you a review on those. And then we'll be able to compare them. I know they are different manufacturers and a little different eras, but they still run together on trains even to this day. So it'll be cool to have both, and I can mix and match um, engines and cars together, and it'll be fantastic. And it's been so long since someone's made a Metro set that um, has been high quality. Walthers did some that were okay, and Kato did some a long time ago, but it's been impossible to find some secondhand. But looking here, this is the Burlington Northern version of the gallery cars. I don't have any of these on order. Here's that cab end of it. I do have um, 2 sets of these Metro BNSF versions here. And then I do have 1 set of the Metro Burlington. So instead of BNSF Railway, it'll say Burlington across the letter there on the letterboard. So I'm super excited for these. These look fantastic. I was able to look at the Atlas cars, and it seems like the Rapido cars are going to have a better level of detail. But it's fantastic to have both options and both manufacturers releasing a car that's very similar so soon. Not great for my wallet, but very, very happy to have them nevertheless. And then, of course, the X23 boxcar and R7 reefers are also coming out. Not as exciting for me, but still very cool if you pre-order those. And then this one just wraps up with an interview, which I won't step through, um, with Bobby. So let's go ahead and move on to Walthers next. All right, moving over here to the Walthers new product Express. I think this is the first time I featured this on the channel, but as it comes out, of course, I'll be featuring it in the future. Starting off here, we have a new release of the Walthers Proto NW2 diesels. So they've got phase 1, 3, and 4 samples here. So just scroll down through here and show you some of the versions here. The AT&SF, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe version looks pretty sweet there. And then they have even more here on the second page. The Southern looks sharp, of course. Can't go wrong with that paint scheme. And then some of the other ones here. And of course, they do have an undecorated version as well. Another proto release, the 40-foot Trinity 14,000 gallon sulfur tank car. These are pretty sweet if you're looking to pick some up for a unit train here. They've got a few different options of reporting marks. And then we have a third proto release here in a row, the 40-foot Gunderson rebuilt all-purpose well cars. Walthers does a great job with their well cars. They are all die-cast metal body, which is super important because you can still run them even when they're empty. So it's a very, very nice thing to have, and they do have great brake irons or grab irons and separately applied details that look great. I don't own any yet, but when I start buying well cars, I think I'll be starting with Walthers. Might not be proto, it may be mainline, since they are still the die-cast metal. But again, these look great, so I'm hoping these will be around when I start buying up intermodal trains. Then onto mainline here, we've got some F7 locomotives that do have DCC equipped versions offered. The mainline lines are getting better, but they're still not quite up to the proto standards really. You will sacrifice some features like extra MU hoses and things like that, or cab figures. But they do look pretty good just as is. And here's some of those versions offered. And then a second mainline release here, the 50-foot 100-ton 4-bay hoppers. Walthers mainline rolling stock is usually pretty fine, as long as you can give up like the train line hoses and things, which do tend to break honestly after lots of use. if you're not too careful. So if you're worried about that, these might be for you. And that also gives you an option to just buy more at a cheaper price, honestly, as well. And then a 40-foot ballast hopper here as well is being offered. Some nice maintenance away schemes here. I like the Union Pacific. They go for the green versions for all their maintenance away equipment. Then we've got an 89-foot flat car. These look sweet. These are very long. I don't think these are going to fit too well on my future layout, which I'm still working on building. But they do look cool. I haven't seen many of these offered really ever, so if you've been dying for one of these, this might be your chance. And then we're getting into the scenery versions here. Here's some track 2-packs, a couple different options there for you. And then the cornerstone, just a couple kits here to highlight. I'll just scroll through them here. Then some Scene Master containers. These will fit well on those new well cars as well as the older well cars for the 53 footers here. And then some figures to wrap us out. So let's move on to another new featured manufacturer, Tangent Scale Models. All right, here's the Tangent newsletter. We'll just be taking a look at the 2024 October release section here. They've got the Trinity Pullman design 4750 cubic foot covered hoppers. So a few different options in this release. Tangent's usually really good with their detail parts and accuracy. So I'm expecting these to be very good as well. I only own one product from them that I will probably make a review on soon. An IC Centralia Shops caboose. Big fan of that. So let's take a look just at some of the paint schemes here. Starting with CSX, and then Burlington Northern as delivered, a Union Pacific as delivered, which is a little different than some of their other orders, so add a little bit of variety to your rolling stock. There's a DGHX, excuse me, as well as GACX, or GATX as its large font. Then a BNSF swoosh, pretty good logo. And then a GACX patch of that same hopper. And then another patch for Burlington Northern hoppers. And a patched Union Pacific version as well. And then, of course, they do have a couple undecorated versions of the ones above as well. But that's all Tangent's got for new releases. Let's go ahead and move on to Athearn. All right, welcome to the Athearn Dispatcher, as they call it. Got just some info on some October pre-order deadlines. The HO Wide Vision cabooses by next Friday, the 25th. The same covered hopper in different paint schemes as the one we just looked at for Tangent is also coming up as an order deadline on the same October 25th date there. So that'll be interesting to see how they compare to those Tangent ones. Expecting the Tangent to be a little better since this is just the standard Athearn line, not a Genesis or anything, and Tangent is more up in that Genesis range of both quality and price. Then some N scale here, another covered hopper, same deadline of the 25th. And then some P40 and P42 DCs are now in stock. So if you had those pre-ordered or you're looking into those are now in stock. Here's just a couple of the paint schemes flashing by here. Nice to see a new release of those. I know a lot of people are still running the old blue boxes. They do hold up well, but it's always nice to see new additional features added, as well as some new paint schemes as well. Here's just a pic of it in the wild here. Then for your N scalers, 33,000 gallon propane gas tank cars. And not a whole lot here today. Let's go ahead and move on to the Atlas newsletter. All right, welcome over to the Atlas newsletter here. Some items arriving the week of October 17th here. Some N-scale B23-7s and RS3s. And then what I found a little confusing is they're announcing the arrival of the MP36s and GP40-2s, which have already been in stock for a while. I saw them over at Lombard Hobbies a little while ago and even tested out an MP36, and they got the front lights wrong. They're the wrong shade of white, so I didn't pick one up. I'm hoping in a future release to pick one up if they fix that. But other than that, they seem like pretty good models. Something they don't mention here, I'll just show you some of the rolling stock as well. They don't mention the Nippon-Sharyo passenger cars that are now in stock. They arrived at Lombard last Monday and I missed it, so I wasn't able to pick up any of the 3-packs. So I actually had to buy elsewhere for that one. Those will be arriving this week, but I did get a chance to test out those cars and they look pretty good. So that made me go ahead and pick up 2 3-packs. So I'll be able to show those off and give you a review if you're interested in that. And then some O-scale here, since Atlas also does O-scale things. And that's about it here for the Atlas updates. And we'll finish off today's newsletter reviews with ScaleTrains here. I did mix up the order a little bit on these just to see what would happen, really. Just trying to pick out some of my favorites first. But I am a fan of ScaleTrains, and I did leave them for last today. So some more in-stock updates here for the GP30s are now available that pre-orders have run out here, as well as N-scale tunnel motors in UP. I do have the Rio Grande HO scale versions on order, so I'm very excited for those. And another N scale, the SD40-2s, and just an order update here. Get your orders in if you're interested. Want to pause and take a look at those details. And then they did include a review as well. Another N scale for the new SD40-2s. I'll just move through here a little quick. You can pause if you're interested. And back over to HO, the 48-foot coil cars here. So different from the Rapido offering for covered coil cars. These are the Thrall version here. Lots of paint schemes. Talked about this last week as well. Very nice that they're offering so many paint schemes as well as those mismatched versions as well. So very nice of them to have those options here. And then just some billing updates down here. The HO EMD SD45 as well as the HO ET44 Tier 4s and Fox Valley model PC&F reefers. So I do have 3 of the ET44s on order. They're the final 3 Canadian National Heritage units I need to pick up. They're the EJ&E, the Illinois Central, and the Wisconsin Central versions. I do already have the BC Rail version, so I'll see if there's any differences in that. I don't know if I'll do a separate video on the BC Rail version to compare it, but I'll be having for sure a video out on the new ones. But that wraps up the ScaleTrains newsletter for this week. And so that'll bring us to the end of the newsletters and updates for this week. I do have a lot of fun making these, just talking trains, seeing what's out there. So if you do enjoy the video, like it, let me know, drop me a comment, and subscribe if you made it this far. It only helps me out, again, completely free to you. So I hope you have a great rest of your week, and thank you very much for watching.